Hi, Misha here, and folks like to hear about the latest stuff from Arsenal, even if they're not always happy with the price or the inner circle stuff that K-Var does. Just seems like something that's a public interest one way or the other. So let's talk about the SAM5-94, one of the more recent additions here in 2022. And of course, it has typical Arsenal PR, dare I say, propaganda. The best, most enhanced AK, yada yada. Is it true? What is it? How is it set apart? You know the dealio. But we'll dive into it and talk about it since I've got one here to show you. First, a couple of things real quick. I am an FFL. I'm a dealer. So I do not purchase from K-Var. Arsenal distributes to dealers and wholesalers with a whole other company. Therefore, no, I'm not a member of the inner circle stuff. In fact, until I did that video on the Cerakoted guns, I didn't even know such a thing existed. So just wanted to put that out there because it was something that came up last time. This one was quite simple. My sales rep called me. I've been buying from Arsenal since 2004 and asked if I wanted one. I thought, why not make a video with it, and then I'm sure put it in the store, someone will want it. So that's where we're at. Secondly, I do appreciate you tuning in. If you could, please do like and share and subscribe, and do feel free to comment below. Try to keep a dialogue going. And if you'd like to help support the channel into this new year, check out the link to the Patreon page. And with that, on to what Arsenal claims to be the bestest AK ever. And since it's me, I can't help but compare to the original SAM5. The SAM5-61 has a simple muzzle nut on the 14mm threads. The SAM5-62 has this muzzle brake. My gun is actually a 61, but I put this on long before the 62 even came out, funnily enough, because I had a spare one kicking about. And I bought this for myself back in 2020 because it came out right around my birthday, and I always wanted to replace my old SAM5 that I bought back in 2004 and sold in late 2009, early 2010 because I had recently gotten married, and yeah, sometimes that's just kind of how life goes. But where this SAM5 was US assembled, officially on a US milled receiver with Bulgarian parts, these are true imports. That means they come over as a functional firearm, although they are compliant with the 1989 import ban and other strictures, meaning they do have to be remanufactured in the USA. Namely, they add a standard buttstock, pistol grip, allow them to accept standard magazines, and work over the muzzle threads and bayonet lug. But the barrel, the receiver, the bolt group, all that good stuff, original Bulgarian from Arsenal AD, Arsenal BG, Circle 10. And these are the same basic gun, 16.25, 415mm, cold hammer forged chrome lined barrel, 1-in-7 twist rate, hot die forged machined receiver, milled receiver, chambered for 5.56 by 45, 5.56 NATO, 223 rims, fine too. And both have the modern kind of thinner profile barrel, 90-degree gas block with traditional AKM bayonet lug, as I said earlier, threaded 14x1 left hand. Both also come from the factory with the intermediate length, which is actually a nice length buttstock, that does include a trapdoor for your cleaning kit and sling swivel. Because they are a milled receiver, they take standard milled buttstocks pistol grips are interchangeable. And both come with the FIME enhanced trigger. And both accept milled handguards. Well, really just the lower. The upper is kind of interchangeable throughout. So that's how they are similar. Our first difference, the handguards. This one comes with standard Bulgarian style black polymer handguards with a steel heat shield inside. This one has the same upper handguard, but the lower is different. It also has a steel heat shield and is polymer, but it has a short rail section on each side, which is metal, although it's bolted to polymer, and it has an longer rail section, which is polymer molded into the forearm. No top rail though. Another interesting thing, the magazine. The standard version comes with a 20-round translucent mag, and this version comes with a 30-round black mag, and it is actually serialed to the gun, although kind of in an interesting way. I can get it out here. Come on. Yeah, doing stuff on camera is always fun. I'm going to set you down for just a second. There we go. I thought the serial would be on the floor plate because that is metal. It doesn't seem to be. Instead, it actually seems to be here, kind of literally etched into the follower. I guess that's neat. It's something I'm sure collectors in the future will cotton on to, but it's very clearly just done at Arsenal in the USA. But at least you do get the larger magazine. Well, I've got this out, show you. Standard magwell. Nothing special. Goes in easy enough. Just had a little trouble wiggling it out there one-handed. So, of course, the biggest difference, the top rail. The forearm rails are 1913, Stanag, NATO spec, Picatinny, and that's what we get here with the top rail. This is not a Weaver type. This, they claim, is 1913, so mil-spec compatible. And obviously, this one does not have it. Let me set this back just a minute. And this is not part of the top cover. Rather, it's a hinged affair up here. It is pinned on. It actually uses the same lever that holds your gas tube on a standard Kalashnikov. But that is part of the rail setup. So you've got this throw here. Yeah, so can I do it? Yeah, I can do that one-handed, but not take a mag out. I know. So that throws up, and then your rail lifts up. And much as on a crank, that also lifts the lever for your gas tube. Now, look at your rear sight here. That lifts it up too. So the best thing to do is go ahead and flip your rear sight forward, and you can easily move this up all the way. And I thought I'd move that up all the way, and I did not. So this hinges open and can go all the way there. And by this point, your handguard's loose. You could remove it if you want. Now what this lever does, when you bulb it forward, it clamps down here, squeezing these two pieces with this rod in the back together. So open it up, they're farther apart, squeeze it in, they champ down. And they've got small nubbins on each side, and those actually interact with small indentions on the receiver here. So it does kind of clamp onto the back, and it is connected in the front. Flipping it over, the nubbin indentions on the receiver here too. And we would just fold this down. Might take the mag out, make my life a little, oh, then it comes out fine. Just fold it down. Now we need our lever in the rear position. It just lightly clips on. Notice there is a bar in the back here, and it's loose enough when it's down like this. And to tighten it, you just push it forward, and it clamps on fine. So that's what they've got going on. And our rear sight always wants to go forward. There we go. So you get a railed forearm, you get a folding top rail, and you get a serial match 30-round magazine. That's what makes the SAM5-94. It should also be pointed out that the forearm adds a small amount of weight, and this top rail adds a little more, especially this kind of block here. It's not super heavy, but you are taking a machined receiver gun that's already not the lightest in the world and adding more weight to it. So when I'm picking these up and flipping them over, I can definitely tell this one is heavier than this one, even though this one actually has a cleaning kit and a sling with it. So how much weight's added? Not a pound, but several ounces. And I think that's something to keep in mind. This rail system, handguard and top cover, is from the AR-M5F, which is a select fire machine gun that Bulgaria does offer. But interestingly, I only saw it in 7.62 by 39, and I just saw it, which is the F in the name, with the side-folding tubular stock. Now, Arsenal did do the SAM5-94E, which was a SAM5-84, SAM5-SF-84, which so it had the caliber and the tubular folding stock, and that would have been pretty much a one-for-one copy of the AR-M5F. This one is more of a standard AR-M1 with AR-M5F rails. And if this top rail reminds you of something else, you are of course correct. Arsenal's AR-M5 rail system is of course very reminiscent of the POPC system developed in Poland by FB for the Beryl. Now, they are kind of reversed in a weird way. Both of them have levers in the back. Of course, on the Beryl, this locks to a plate as part of your rear trunnion. This one clamps directly on to the milled receiver and has a thing on the side. Both are hinged in the front. This is permanent, at least without driving out the rivet. Whereas on the Beryl, it's actually easily removable. Throw your lever, lift her up. Just start off tight. Let me set you down again. 1 second. 2 hands are better than one. Once you get it going, because it uses that stud, it comes up and then comes off. So it has the 2 nubbins been in the front and the lever in the back. And it does require a special rear trunnion and these dovetail style cutouts on the rear sight base on each side. But it is totally removable from the system, whereas this is permanent, although it can be hinged up. I threw just a Chinese knockoff an ACOG on to talk about another point, the height of the optic. And it is one advantage of this Arsenal system. It is quite low profile. It really hugs the dust cover. The downside, you can use the iron sights with no optic on, but if you have an optic on, your iron sights are blocked. With the Polish rail here, there is a channel underneath that lets you use the iron sights. This is the Gen 4 POPC rail. The Gen 3 set lower like the Arsenal, but actually the Polish military liked the idea of mounting it higher so you could still use your iron sights. So there is a lower rail for the Polish gun, although I still think the Arsenal might sit a smidgen lower. So I will give credit there, but it's not removable from the firearm like the Polish is. But the Polish had a real reason to put this on their gun. Bulgaria, I'm not so sure. Let me explain. This is the reason the Polish Beryl has this top rail. The 3-mode fire selector is on the left side. This is something inherited from the Tantal. So there's not a spot for the traditional side rail. So this was the alternative. So they could keep the fire mode selector on the left and the safety selector independent on the right. Good solution. But with the Arsenal, we have this top rail, but we still have the left side rail. So it kind of leads me to wonder why? I don't know. Maybe I'm incorrect in that. Keep in mind, my attitude towards optics mounts is secondhand at best, but it seems to me we've got a perfectly good mount right here that's riveted to a machined receiver. I think both of these hold 0 just fine, at least battlefield 0. I will say I think this style of throw lever on the Polish gun I like better. With the Arsenal, you've got thinner metal being squeezed. You also have more of a device hanging off the side that could potentially get caught and then, pulled off and open up. The Polish system is exactly what it is. It was integrated. It was part of the design when they designed the Wz-96 Beryl. The AR-M5 system, while well enough executed, was shoehorned retroactively into the AK-47 AR-M1 platform. And to some extent, it really does show. End to end, we compare again with the standard SAM5. You got the side rail here, and the first side mount optic I found was the Russian Cobra. But there are plenty of pick mounts, weaver mounts, other types, ring mounts that go right on. And this hugs the top cover just as much, if not even a little more than this. And it's using the existing mount. In both cases, for disassembly, you're going to need to hit this throw lever to remove. But in this instance, you're going to need to flip this lever to open it up either way. So either way, it has to dismount the optic system somehow, some way to get to the cleaning. I like simple, and I think with the Kalashnikov, simple is always kind of the most elegant solution. Utilizing the side mount just seems the nicer way to go. And yeah, it's an extra cost if you get an adapter. Cheap ones are $50. Real nice ones are $150, $200. But of course, this isn't free either. You're going to pay for it. Oh, will you ever? The SAM5-62 is around $1,850. Not insignificant, actually more than the Beryl today. But you are getting a milled receiver 5.56 true import. This one, what do you pay for the top rail and the handguards and the larger mag? Well, MSRP is set at $24.99, and I just looked on K-Var's website and they're charging $23.49. So $2,350. So you're looking at $500 difference. Is getting the railed forearm and the top rail worth that? In my opinion, I actually kind of like the railed forearm, to be honest, but you can get those separate too. In my opinion, no. You can buy this top rail with the hinge section for $249.95, so $250. But even on the website, they warn you it requires machining. You have to drive out this rivet and redo all that, and you have to make those indents in each side of your machined receiver. And if they're not exactly properly done, there's no second chances. So frankly, even though it might seem attractive to buy it for $250 to save $250, you're going to pay a gunsmith that, and there's no guarantee he's going to get it right. At least with Arsenal, it's factory done, so if you get it and it's done wrong, that falls under warranty. If you pay a third party to do it or try it yourself and get it wrong, you're screwed. So if you're going to do it, I would probably go ahead and get the factory done one, just because you have that a little bit of extra security. When it comes to optics mounting, you really want things to be precisely correct, or it's going to throw everything off. As I was saying a minute ago too, see, it's got the side latch. It's pretty flush, and it's rounded on the edge, but if it were to get caught, bumped, it flings open, kind of spring tension itself, and squeezes in. I could see this getting caught a little more easily than the Polish version, just because it is on the side versus in the back. I don't know, personal preference. But I thought people would be interested in this, so why not? It comes in the typical Arsenal box, made of tissue paper, the magazine, the sling, cleaning kit, oiler, manual. I don't know if these are a limited item, but I mean, I don't know how many sets of handguards and whatnot they have. These all start off as the same basic import. They're modified here in Las Vegas. So, yeah. Again, to me personally, I would just use the side mount, and with the $500 you save, you could get a lot of 30-round mags, and you can get yourself a really nice side mount for your optic. And if you want, you can buy these handguards. I don't know how much they are, but probably the set's around $100, give or take. But yeah, I just thought this would be something different, and people do like the Arsenal videos, so why not? The SAM5-94 with the AR-M5F rail setup. Just my opinion from someone who can't use optics anyway, so disregard if you need to. And more importantly, I would love to hear your opinion in the comments below, so yeah, let me know. I'm actually very interested. And as I said at the beginning, if you could, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like to help support the channel, please check out the link to the Patreon page. This is Misha. Catch you very soon, next time.